Hey guys, Coach Jan here. I want to share two Qigong exercises that I've recently had a breakthrough in myself. As a Tai Chi practitioner, you're supposed to always be evolving your art. And, studying under great masters, I realized that the masters change how they teach over time. So if you look at some of my older stuff, some of my newer stuff may have greater detail and sometimes even different principles. So we change over time. I want to share two exercises with you. One is grasping the fist with angry eyes, or clenching the fist with angry eyes, which is from the 8 Pieces of Brocade. That's one. And the other one is an uplifting heaven variation, with a squat or with a horse stance. And I want to share some new details that I've found in these exercises with you today. So one, clenching fist with angry eyes. The way that I was taught via the Wu style perspective of it, the Wu style always gave me the breath work and visualization first, and I always appreciated that. And that means that over the body mechanic, over the muscle, or should I say deeper than the muscle, you're inhaling and visualizing the breath gathering in the belly like a sun and pushing that color out through the limbs. So in this case, clenching fists with angry eyes, we're going to be pushing the breath visualization from the belly through the knuckles about an inch or two beyond the knuckles. You want to go beyond the body for sure. That means you want to use your imagination to visualize the color of the breath coming out. But here's the new detail. The new detail is the smile. Can you actually see me here? Let me slide this over here. The new detail is the smiling and the pace of the smile. So check this out. So we're going to inhale. You're going to do it pumping first, which means standing up and going back down. We're going to inhale into the belly. You're going to have this hollow fist rested right on the hips. Imaginary straight, of course, lifting from the top of the head. This is all the basic stuff that you do when you start. Tailbone drops straight down. Any tension in there drops straight down, as if you have a weight on the tailbone. So not a tuck forward, but just a drop down. Hollow fists gently placed on the hips, and the elbows are very relaxed rather than pulled back for this variation. You're going to inhale into the belly. You're going to exhale, push the color, visualizing it, mouth closed, tongue on the ceiling of the mouth. Visualize the breath as a color like rays of light shooting out of these two knuckles, index and middle finger knuckles. But when you do this, here's the variation, you're going to furrow your brow. We've talked about this in the past. You're going to furrow your brow. Next part of the variation, you're going to smile and release the brow and let the belly inflate. Or more specifically, the belly, the obliques, and the lower back, the entire waist. The entire waist is going to inflate, and you're going to fill up with this smile. The sattvic thought, or the background thought, that you maintain, the background visualization that's always going, is going to be in the lower dantian, or the second chakra, the orange one, that color visualization growing like a sun. So that means that is the most emphasis that you have in the mind. You set the mind to emphasize that color gathering very brightly, and then you exhale, push that color out, and you furrow the brow again, pushing the breath through the knuckles, and the fist squeezes just only at the end, about an inch or two beyond, before you finish. You squeeze and you drill that color visualization through. And then you do it to the side. So inhaling, belly, obliques, everything gets big. Smiling gets big, and then exhale, furrow the brow and punch to the side. Punch, punch, inhaling deep. Go back a little bit. Coming up, exhale, punching out directly to the side. And then inhale. So the variation here is on the feeling in the face and through the whole body. When you smile, you have a cascading experience through the whole body. A smile sends messages to the whole body. A bunch of wonderful chemicals are released when you smile, etc. So you really want to allow this smile to permeate the entire body as you inhale. And again, visualize the breath gathering like a sun, with the mouth closed, tongue on the ceiling of the mouth. Exhale. So we'll do the circuit again. It's 4 punches. Inhale. Smile, come up. Exhale. Furrow the brow like angry eyes. Push the color through. And the arms are very relaxed. The only time there's direct intentional tension is the squeeze right here, and then you immediately release it and you pull the color back through the knuckles as if they're slurping, like through straws here. The color slurping in into the belly as you inhale. And then exhale, push that color out the other side. Squeeze the knuckles. Inhaling deep. And then once you do it, let's say 3 times with the pumping, to pump the energy in the body, you're going to stay seated 3 times. And again, 1 time means 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forward, forward, side, side. So that equals 1 set. So we'll do 3 more. Remember, this is not dynamic tension. This is a very basic Qigong exercise with an extra emphasis on the color visualization. When I say dynamic tension, I mean there's no flex here. And notice that there's not even a waist turn. There are variations with a waist turn, but here we're doing our best to really capture, really hook with our mind and our attention, hook the visualization and stay connected to that visualization. Furrow the brow, inhale, smile. Big smile, cascade to the body, furrow the brow. Really feel that smile, furrow the brow, feel the furrowing of the brow shooting like a dagger through the knuckles. Feel the smile filling the whole body and then shooting out again the other side. And filling the whole body. So that's the first Qigong exercise I want to show you. The second one, that one is called clenching fists with angry eyes. Again, furrowing the brow and smiling. So that is the new thing. If you ever trained with me in the past, the new detail is the smiling and the filling to counterbalance the furrowing of the brow. Because in the past I used to do it with just the furrow of the brow, and then I'd relax, and then I'd furrow the brow again. I find the counterbalance of the smile to make me personally more engaged in the exercise. I actually find that exercise the most challenging of the Qigong 8 pieces of Brecade exercise, because the way I was taught that variation, it is so subtle. It is so important to have the connection, pushing the color visualization through the knuckle, but also having that shoulder blade disappear in the upper back very softly without torquing, without doing a cross or the mechanics that we would normally have with a punch, or most commonly have with a punch. And it's very similar, the mechanic of just filling up here is actually very similar to inverted breathing Tai Chi as taught by Grandmaster William C.C. Chen, where a punch is a filling up with an inhalation and like pouring tea. And you don't necessarily do a torque with those punches, you literally just fill up. And the structure by nature of the body mechanic will be supported, meaning that impact will you'll have a very strong structure when you make contact with an object or a person, etc. So very similar mechanic, but we're not doing the inhalation, the lift of the elbow, keeping the elbows down for the Wu style to be aligned with the Wu style here, and exhaling rather than inhaling. So that last example I just gave you of the inverted breathing is only to compare, and not many people do the inverted breathing, but if you do, train with me on the inverted breathing on my YouTube channel. That is its own system. So interesting notes there. Next is the uplifting heaven variation with the squat. So you guys know uplifting heaven, and there's 4 different breath formulas. There's a bunch of things here that you can check my YouTube channel for an hour-long deep dive into this one exercise. We've also done it with this variation with the squat. So inhaling up, the hands up, come out to the side, exhale out, inhale deep, exhaling down, stopping, inhaling up, and then exhaling. So we've done that variation too. However, the details I want to give you on this one are the difference in the legs. And the legs, all this is coordinated with the breath, and it'll make it much more of a full experience, full body experience. So a lot of times you'll see that when I hold my half horse stance in Qigong, I'll have my weight going down the inside of the legs. That means I'll soften my knees and my weight is going down the inside of the legs. even when I open my knees up, my intention is to roll the pressure down the inside of my legs. Why? Well, the reason for that is that when you play push hands, especially if you play, when I say play push hands, I mean the sport of push hands. I don't mean just general push hands drills, which are wonderful and beautiful and very, very important. But if you're doing this sport and you're doing it on a high level, the way I'm trained to play at the highest level, at the Taiji World Cup, etc., is to drop the weight down the inside of the leg, down what's called the three nails, the heel, ball of the foot, big toe. Those 3 points on the foot, the nails are considered 3 nails into the ground, and I drop my weight on the inside like a pyramid structure and move my weight this way. In other words, I don't put my weight on the outside of my foot because there's not as much support there for the body, and you can hurt the knee, etc. And having known how it feels to play before I knew the 3 nails, which I learned from Grandmaster William C.C. Chen, which I learned from Coach Josh Waitskin, who recruited myself and my father on the U.S. push hands team, that structure I found to be superior to any other structure I've ever encountered in any martial art at all. If you're standing up, it's the most balanced, most structured stance I've ever experienced. And when I test it against other people, it works. So I have reason to believe that. However, I also know that, for example, in Kenpo, which I've done some training in, my son trains in, they push the knees out and they go into the blades of the feet digging into the ground. So I think this is really interesting because at the end of the day, if you're holding anything for too long, you could start to do some damage. And if you want to vary it up, if you want to get more range of motion, it's important to understand the difference between stances or variations of where you place your weight, and then to be able to deepen your understanding of those variations, meaning that you play with one, you understand the value, meaning I know I'm structured and I can wrestle from here, but I also know the value of opening up here, keeping the weight on the inside, and I also know the value of opening up here and pushing the blades of the feet into the ground and creating a different type of musculoskeletal experience here all around. So I'm doing my best to get as much range of motion and power, and now this next exercise with that little explanation, we're going to switch between internal and external. So here we go. Inhaling up, exhale out, inhale deep, exhaling down, down, down. And we're going on the inside of the legs. So here's the inside, and then open up outside, exhaling down. Again, inhaling up, exhale, shift the weight to the heels, inhaling up, interlace the fingers, exhaling down, down, down. The weight stays on the inside of the legs, heel, ball, foot, big toe. Inhale, open up to the blades of the feet, belly button pulling in, chest going up, and the tailbone going down and out. Exhale, come up slowly. And really visualize not only the lower dantian, but the entire hip structure. Visualize the skeleton, visualize the muscles. Exhaling down, 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 down. Stay on the inside of the legs. Inhaling, open, up, 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 up. Exhale. One more. And that's it. So I hope you guys find that helpful. I love you guys so much. If you have a thought, question, or idea, Coach Jan everywhere. And I'll repost this on YouTube. Love you.